veins, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capping space. I won't stop till I hear him say,
welcome back. Welcome back. This is your own Mother's Day edition of the Never Ever Met. Yay! Hoping that all the mothers and the mother figures out there had a great day. How's everybody doing?
I'm all good, thank you. Happy Mother's Day to everybody stateside.
Well,
thanks, Emma. I'm good too. A little tired. Had a good day.
Oh, okay. Very good. I'm glad to hear that, Elsie. My stomach is still full. My son had me over to his house for dinner, and it was quite delectable. Don't ask me what it was, because he's always doing something gourmet, and I can't remember the Italian name for it, but it was very, very good. And weather cooperated today. We were at 80 or 79 or something like that. So we're coming back down into the lower 70s, but very nice day today. What about the weather where you are, JR?
Yeah, we had a very lovely day weather-wise today. Very warm for this time of year. And then in the evening, we had downpours of rain. So, but it was very nice throughout the daytime.
All right.
We've been raining all day since yesterday. And we are 64 degrees right now in the south.
Oh, okay. So you guys are comparable to our temperature. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That is very interesting. Well, what did you guys think of this episode?
I thought the episode was quite interesting. Quite a few things happened in it. So, and we still have a few secrets that still are not being told yet. And we're probably halfway through the experience. Mm-hmm. So it's not looking good for those two people in particular holding those massive secrets. Then we also had Ty cook and prioritize his woman finally. And we saw how some of the other classmates reacted to that too. And we saw Country Chris so his girl, listen, stop being messy. Tone it down. Stop trying to get me caught up in drum. So yeah, we had a few things happening. So I'm sure we'll discuss.
Mm-hmm. We sure will. What about you, Elsie? What did you think briefly about this week's episode?
I think it was a good episode. I especially liked our visitors. I think our visitors were very, very constructive.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
Yeah.
Jay's sister in particular.
Amanda, yep. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I thought Cinco's friend was pretty good too, because he kind of let him know, like, look, maybe she didn't want to answer that kind of personal question in front of the group. You should have waited and pulled her outside the group and asked her about that.
Yeah, but she was also saying if she doesn't feel like answering any question, then she doesn't have to. If he's asked a question, she doesn't have to answer it. Period. Whatever it's about.
All right then. Well, you know what? You brought it up, so we're going to go ahead and get into our dear brother Ty here, who decided this week that he was going to do more gestures and more acts of service for his woman, for Brittany. What did you make of the scene when he started to cooking breakfast with the guys in the kitchen? Elsie.
Okay, Ty's putting forth his effort. He listened to his woman. Okay, he listened, and the very next morning, he's making her favorite breakfast. So he also retained the information. What I didn't like, okay, what I didn't like was Brittany's reaction. Oh, so I got to get ugly to get service? Ma'am, ma'am, the gentleman is doing exactly what you asked him to do. Take it graciously. Give him a little bit of praise. You ain't got to go all the way cheerleading with the pom poms, but you could at least tell him you appreciate his efforts. This is how people get soured on doing something for a girlfriend or boyfriend. It's like, oh, so I got to get ugly for you to actually do right? No, that is not a response. Give him to keep making this breakfast. That's all I'm saying.
Right. And you know what?
Mhm.
We have still yet to see what exactly it is that Brittany has been doing to also cater to her man.
Mhm.
JR, did you notice that, or did you see
Yeah,
something that I missed?
yeah. Well, I saw that as quite ungrateful, to be honest. After the show she put on to try and let him know that she wants to be the priority, he definitely took that on board, cooked up the breakfast, and served it to her personally. She decided to eat it in the room with the ladies. Um, I think it was Kiki was there, but yeah, she didn't come across as gracious, and even though she kind of appreciated the effort, I don't think she did enough to really say, thank you. But I was also looking at the guys in the house watching him cook and serve her first, and they were sniggering away and giggling and kikiing because they're like, man, this guy, he's a butler basically. He's
Right.
he's a chef and a butler delivering his girl this meal. Um, so I guess some of the guys thought he lost cool points, but he was like, listen, I'm catering to my woman. This is what she wants, and this is what I'm doing. So I'd rather not have the headache afterwards if I didn't do it.
I didn't like Chris's comments. This is how your boys keep you single. It's like, oh, he looking like he just doing whatever. He looking like a
Mhm.
chump. He like,
Exactly.
no, hush, hush.
Exactly.
Oh,
And he even went further than that. He said a man shouldn't be catering to his woman. It should be the woman catering to the man. That's what he was kind of saying. It's kind of feminine on Ty's part to be cooking his woman breakfast and doing what he's doing. I
doing
didn't
too
like that.
much, taking it to the bed.
Yeah, didn't like that from Chris. But again, that's what the guy. That's probably why they were laughing at Ty, because they probably kind of saw the same sentiment that Chris was putting out there.
It's interesting that for the guys, it's okay for Ty to cater to and pamper them, and it's not feminine then when he's on that grill or he's making drinks and he's entertaining with his jokes and whatnot. But yet, it's not a cool thing for him to, like you say, take care of his woman or the woman that he's talking to. And you're absolutely right. Was that you that said that? El said that no, I'm sorry. Was it you, Elsie? Who was it that said that this is how men keep other men single?
I did. I said that. That's how they keep them single. That's how they, tease them, I should say. You're
Yeah,
teasing him for doing something for his woman. And for a different man, he may stop doing it because he don't want to look like a chump for his boys. But,
right.
Ty is grown. Ty is in his almost 40. And he's just like, hey, this is what my woman want. This is what she gets. And Chris, you need to watch. Ladies are listening. So you are not going to cater to your lady. Where's Alexis when you need her eavesdropping?
Right. Where is she? He just, I don't know. This episode, it was almost like a demon hopped into Chris because he's throughout this whole episode, he's mumbling and saying some things that just do not hit right with me. But we'll get to that in a minute, won't we?
Mhm.
Like he's talking about he's got to hold back his woman he got to fix. We're gonna get to it in a moment though. But we see that Brittany did get her plate of breakfast, and she took it. She decided to take it upstairs. Said she wasn't feeling well. She's hanging out with the girls. You can't see it because we're covering it, but right there on the left is Charlie, and on the other side of her is Kiki. And what did you think about the conversation with the girls, Elsie?
I really couldn't pay much attention to the conversation with the girls, and I hate to be like this, but too much of Britney's girls were out. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, yeah, like in this picture, yeah, yeah. She was.
Mm,
They were on display, weren't they?
yes, they were. They were. And I was just like, okay, I really can't pay attention to their conversation. So I was like, girl, and then somebody else, one of the guys came to the door. See, that's my conservative self. I would not be able to be on display like that for the camera, one, and two, for somebody else's man who came to the door.
Yeah, that would be that. I guess that could be a lot these days, though. I don't know. When I'm going out in public now that it's starting to get warm around here, the shorts, the booty shorts, and like you said, the cleavage, what I call it. Okay, yes, I know it's cleavage, but the cleavage hanging out with the girls, nobody really cares. It seems to me like
That
nobody really cares about decency,
that's why I
dress
like
code.
winter. That's why I like winter.
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, and I want to welcome in. I see we got some of our peeps coming in. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Colton, shout out to Colton. Baby Doll, hey there. Jay at another round, another content creator. Go over and check out her channel, guys. Um, but yeah, it was definitely interesting seeing how she was. Like, do you think she was excited to get the food? Do you think she was appreciative? And then we're gonna move on. What do you think, Jr.?
Yeah, she was because she was kind of she knew she was kind of tempting the other ladies in the room by eating it. None of their men have done that for them, I don't think. So she felt like she was getting that special treatment, and other girls were getting hungry. So, so yeah, she appreciated it. But like I said, I just don't think she actually told Ty how much she appreciated it. Because, as I said, he should get some brownie points for at least listening to her and applying everything that she was suggesting he needed to work on. He did it straight away without
Mm,
complaint. And
hmm.
even risked ridicule with the rest of the guys, he still did it. So,
Well, yeah, you're right. Even with the ribbing that the guys was giving him, particularly and especially Chris. But she did give him a little bit. Looks like, I don't know. We couldn't see their face, but it looked like she was trying to give him a kiss when he bent down near her on the bed. Do you think that was a sufficient payment,
no,
Jr.?
no,
No.
no.
Should be more, huh?
Hmm.
Okay. All right.
It'll be interesting to see how she caters to him, like you said earlier, if she repays him or there's
Yeah.
anything that he feels that. Because it's
Maybe
a two-way street, right?
it's a two-way street for sure. Maybe offer him a massage since he seems to enjoy things like that. What about you, Elsie? Did you have something you were going to say?
She said she wasn't feeling well. Do we know why? Was it too many drinks? Did he pour too much yesterday, the night before?
Mm.
Hmm.
We don't know why.
No, but whatever it was required her to have her sunglasses on in the bed. So
Mm,
So we got Kiki here, and we kind of moved over to Kiki and her guy Brandon, and Kiki is telling us that she wants to be intimate and she craves intimacy. Is anybody buying that right now?
absolutely not.
nope.
Mm-mm.
Well, you know what? Let me rephrase that. Let me rephrase that.
Okay.
She may crave the intimacy, but it ain't with Brandon. Okay, let's put it out there.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
with the
wait a minute.
ex-man. It's with the ex-boyfriend.
It's the
That's where it is.
ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
Okay, the ex-boyfriend that she's still in love with, allegedly. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that for sure. I don't think it's too many lies and too many secrets in this house. I think we should call this the House of Lies. Would anybody co-sign that?
Yeah, I mean, there are obviously some major ones from a few of the couples, not all of them, but Kiki, um, it's a tough one with her, man, because her secret is huge. I know we're going to talk about Clay and his secret, but
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
oh
when
yeah.
she took, that secret that Kiki's holding is a crazy secret, and Brandon's going to hit the roof. So I'm not sure if she should be giving up intimacy as much until she actually tells him what the secret is. I'm
Yeah.
surprised she doesn't use intimacy as a way to butter him up to tell him. But
You mean are you talking about with Kiki now? Or are you talking about with
yeah,
Tati?
Kiki,
Okay.
of course, I'm talking about Kiki. She got a secret to tell Brandon, and she needs to find the best way to tell him. The drink is not giving her the Dutch courage to do it because she hasn't done it already. She's been drinking a lot,
You know,
so she needs to find a method to do it.
it's funny you mentioned about the drinks because we haven't heard him say anything more about her drinking. Is it just okay now? Like what? Is she okay with the drinking? What do you think, Elsie?
I think that, she could be covering it up. She could be, keeping back the drinks just a little bit. But we haven't seen, the camera hasn't picked up on her being, in the slush too much. So I'm wondering if she kind of like, okay, I got a secret, I got to tell him, but I can't cover it up with alcohol.
Right, and also he's going to be beating a dead horse because he's already told her how he feels, and he's already told her why he feels that way, and she's already explained why she drinks, and she's already explained that she has, from her traumas or whatever, and maybe some insecurities, but so if he keeps on going on about it, then it's not going to change the situation. She has to change it herself. I think the therapist's words did help her, the advice that the therapist gave. But it's only been one episode that we haven't seen a drink in her hand. It was only last week she was having these conversations about the drinking. So
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I don't know. I think anybody buying the fact that she keeps saying over and over again in her confessionals that and she's told him a couple times, like in the car, that she doesn't come from an affectionate family. Is anybody really still buying that?
no.
I don't know. I don't know enough with Kiki. I don't see her hugging or touching any of the ladies. So I could kind of think that she isn't about physical touch, because if you see her, nobody's hugging her, she's not asking for a hug, even talking to the ladies, she's on a separate chair or she's a little bit away from them. So I could kind of believe that because we haven't seen anything different from her.
Okay, I see what you're saying. You got some very excellent evidence and observations about her not being physically even close and hugging with and touching a lot with the women. So she may be telling the truth. I just think that at our big age, when you become an adult, we all have different things that we gathered from our family. Traditions, who we are. But if something is affecting your growth and affecting the relationships that you would like to have, I think it's the time when you have to start working on those things. I don't know.
I don't think anything about her not being hugged up with the girls or anything. That would be crazy anyway.
Well, yeah.
So I mean, with her man though, you've been talking for 4 years. This is your first time seeing each other. So obviously you don't have to be intimate straight away, but you've had intimacy tasks, you spent time together. So if there was a genuine attraction, chemistry, and connection there, then it would naturally lead to more physical touch and intimacy. And if she's withholding that, I think that it's down to the fact that she's conflicted about how she's going to tell Brandon. I think she's also conflicted about the previous relationship she only just moved out of and her feelings for Brandon. So she's got a few things going on, and maybe if she was intimate with Brandon, it would just complicate things even more.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. Guys, we're gonna move on to the one of the games that Taronda had for these couples. Let's see. She had a game that kind of talked about basic questions that these couples should know, things that they should know about one another. And we hear Jay and saying, "Look, we're Cinco and I are very competitive. We're gonna win this mother scudder, right?" So they started off strong, because like they asked the favorite question of Jay, and they both obviously got it right. They said pink. Some of the other couples, I think, but one other couple, was it El Cid that got it right?
Yes.
And who was that?
I can't remember. I didn't make a note of who got it right because she wasn't telling us everybody. I just made a note of most of the questions.
Okay, well now go through the questions with us, please, because I knew you would have those notes. So that's why I love you being on the panel.
Like she asked the guys, what is her favorite color? Then she turned around and said, what is his favorite food? What is her signature cocktail? Is online dating or real life better? And is it ever okay to keep secrets in a relationship?
Right. And well, let's go back. Let's go for a second. Let's go back to the which is better, online or in real life? Who was the only person that said online was better?
Chris.
Yeah. Yeah, Chris did. And Alexis, I don't think she really particularly cared for him doing that to her. I mean, she felt embarrassed.
Yeah.
He used Country Bumpkin to explain it. He said, I thought you meant easier.
Oh, that's the Country Bumpkin. Yeah, because he was Chris, this episode was cutting up. I began to not really to like Chris. I've always thought he was sweet. He was Southern. I had a friend that's from the South, and I used to say country, and he kind of has got me in the mode of I don't say country anymore unless it's music. I just say Southern. but he was acting a fool, and it was almost like as if he wanted all the guys to stay single, basically.
Well, he just ain't feeling the physical interaction that he's experiencing. He preferred it online. Simple, like that's what he's trying to say. He didn't beat around the bush.
I guess they won't. Hey, JR, do you think? I don't know if they'll be going to the boom boom room then.
I don't know. They probably might still go to the boom boom room, but he's feeling with online, like he said, he can just hang up the phone and go about his business, or he can turn the volume down, or he can be doing other things while he's talking to her or whatever. But in face to face, it's more pressurized situation. Now you've got the person in front of you. You have to solely focus on that person. And that to me sounded like, okay, well, if he's not feeling her since they met up, he preferred their online chemistry to their physical chemistry.
Yeah. Oh, I got my answer. Another round says that it was Clay and Tati that got the color right as well. Okay. Thanks, Jay. So moving forward, let's see what else we got here. We announced the winner, and it turns out it's actually Tati and Clay. I was like, oh, what? But they thought it was going to be Jay and Cinco. So I don't know, because of course, as El Cid always says, we are watching a very edited show.
Yeah, because they breezed us over quite a few questions. We saw a montage where she was just talking, and we didn't really see answers. And it's like, lady, I'm wondering how far up that slit go, and now you're talking too fast.
Girl, oh yeah, that dress. Oh, I had a picture. I had too many pictures, so I couldn't put it in here. The dress that Taronda had, I actually loved it, but Why wasn't I thought her for JJ was about to fall out if she had turned the wrong way?
Exactly. I
What was
thought the
going
shadows.
on?
Exactly. I thought the shadow. If she just twist, don't. I was like, don't look too far to the left, because everything will be out.
We would see an extra set of lips.
Ooh,
Maybe,
I was like, do we have some flesh colored stuff on? Please tell
yeah.
me. It's like, no, it's just flesh.
Well, JR, what did you think of the outfit since we're on attire now?
I didn't see nothing wrong with it. I mean, like you were saying about the boobies hanging out in the bedroom there. Um, some girls like to just show off their assets, I guess. And Toronto's new outfit was going to be revealing from the backside and the hindquarters. So that's what she chose. So, I'm not going to hate on it. She's in shape.
You say it's all good. What you say, JR? Turn to the left, turn to the left.
Turn to the left, turn to the right, spin around 360. It's up to you.
I love how free JR is. It must be a European thing. So we have Brandon is busy talking about, hey, look, you know what? I think Clay is literally making a fool out of Tati. He really is. He's making a fool out of her. Wait a minute, I think I might have this out of order. This is after the meal. Okay. Chris is once he's saying, this is what I thought was really cruel. Now, was this just me? When Chris is playing pool with Brandon, he was talking about how he did not like that at the end of the game when I think was the question El said they asked who has the most secrets or something, that had Lexi clearing her throat and all like that.
Yeah, that was the question. It had her kind of gesturing and giggling and looking at Clay and trying to give away the fact that he's holding on to a secret. So it was messy. It's none of her business like that. So yeah, it is messy and very petty.
Right. Yeah, that was crazy, Jay.
But what she thought was a secret wasn't the major secret.
Exactly. That was wild, because when she said she knew, I was like, okay, he must have told her. But turns out she was thinking the whole vegan thing with Clay. Clay saying that he wanted to be vegan and then going around eating the pork, steak, beef, ham sandwich that he had. Yeah, he did, Jay. Yeah, he did. He definitely did. That's why he didn't say nothing about that outfit. So, guys, but what did you think about? Do you think it was messy, Elsie? Do you think it was messy about her saying something or clearing her throat? Do you think that was messy, or was she just trying to? I don't know. Was she just trying to be a friend? Maybe tip her off.
It was messy in front of the whole group. It was messy. I mean, she didn't have to make a sound. She could still look at them and wink if she wanted to. But she could have just done nothing, or she could have just played it cool. Because it is not her secret to tell. She may know it. She may see that he eaten, one of those beautiful sandwiches from Jay every single lunchtime, and that ain't her business.
Ain't none of her business. Stay out of it.
Yeah.
I just want to know, the girls don't look out for the girls, but the guys always looking out for the guys. Do you think that if the secret was reversed and it was Tati that had the baby and she hadn't told Clay about it, do you think for a second that the girls wouldn't have let the guys know and the guys wouldn't have in turn told him?
But Jared already told Charlie. So how are the boys looking out for the boys?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Remember,
it's only been a week. I'm not carrying water for people I just know a week.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Exactly. Charlie was in a situation and no one was trying to blow up her spot. I think the problem with I think the problem Chris was trying to bring to her attention is that, listen, you may think you know the secret, but by doing what you did, you could have blown up the spot. let him tell the secret in his own time. It's his obligation to do that, not your obligation to try and force that to happen. So stay out of it.
Yeah. I mean, I can see, I don't know. I guess you're right because none of these people have known each other more than what, 2 weeks at tops, maybe, right? They'll see it.
Right. And you don't know how the other person would react. Even in your friend group, you don't know if something of this magnitude, if you tell them, how will they react? So even worse, it's a stranger. And we don't know if Tatiana will flip out. We don't know if Tatiana will turn on you and still stay with her man. We don't
Hmm.
know these people.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess you're right. I can see it a little bit better that way. But, so I guess, so did you agree that it was time, JR, for Chris to sit Alexi down and talk to her about this and kind of put a stop to it?
Yeah, I think it was, because if he didn't, then she may continue doing it and put him in an awkward situation, get herself into an awkward situation, or create the scenario where Clay Tatiana come to um,
Some type of understanding.
no, some type of argument about the situation. Because Tatiana may be thinking, how comes everybody knows the secret except me? As well as how could you hold something like this from me for so long? So she could go nuclear. And Chris is just saying, keep your nose out of it. Just, sit back and watch. When it happens, then we'll all know about it. But don't try and push it. And I also didn't like the fact that she confronted Clavacia. She, even after Chris had spoken to her, she gets up and calls him to the side and
Yeah,
said,
she did.
tell me what your secret is or whatever. So she she's hard headed. She does what she wants to do, and this is what Chris was saying a few weeks ago. She doesn't know boundaries. She doesn't respect other people's boundaries.
Elsie, what do you think? Do you agree with that? That she was disrespecting boundaries by going to talk to?
Yeah, that's why with the edited show, I need to know which came first. Because if she really did that whole thing with Clay after Chris talked to her about it, then that's really, really disrespectful, especially if Chris just asked you not to interfere, not to be a part of this. But it had to be because she came in, she apologized and then she pulled him outside to talk. That looks suspicious. That looks suspicious. You calling him outside to say, hey,
Mm-hmm.
your secret, you need to handle it. She didn't need to. She didn't need to do any of that. But I
Right.
understand for the show, it adds a little spice. It puts Clay under pressure.
It
Somebody
does.
else, somebody else knows he up to no good. And everybody at the table, we'll get to it. Everybody at the table knew Clay full of crap.
Right. Yeah. I mean, guys, what do you think that's out there? Baby doll, you still out there? What do you think? Should women out the men when they know there's a pertinent secret that's going on? And if they're not, even though they're not close friends. Now, if they were close friends, can we all come to agreement on this? If these ladies were close friends or had known each other for a while, are you guys saying that it still wouldn't be okay or what? What are you saying, Nelson?
I mean, if it's a long standing friend of mine, I ain't telling. I'll hold it.
Oh, you
I'll
mean
hold it.
if the woman was a long-standing friend of yours, you still wouldn't tell her?
If the woman or the man is a long-standing friend, I would encourage you to tell your significant other this secret. I would encourage you, but I'm not going to out you if it's a long-standing friend. For the sake of this house, man, Tati would have heard from me already. For the sake of the house, the drama and footage, Tati would have heard from me already. It would have been a quiet note left in her makeup bag that she wouldn't have known who it came from.
Oh, okay. I see. I like your creative way of giving her the info. I like that. Okay, JR, what do you say?
Now, stay out of it. You don't even know what the secret is, because Chris didn't even tell her what the secret was. He just told her, listen, that's not the secret.
And
But
that's And that's very interesting, JR. So these two must not be having pillow talk because it seems like the other ladies suspect or know what the secret is, and Alexi doesn't. So they're not having pillow talk. It doesn't seem like.
No, but if they are, it isn't about Clay and Tatiana. But
Yeah,
at
but
the end of the day, she did
mhm.
like I noticed that Chris was careful not to tell her what the secret was. He just said, "Listen, whatever you know, what you think it is, it's not that. So, just keep out of it and let them handle it." I think he did that because he knows if he did tell her, then she would be messy enough to go and reveal it before Clay got the opportunity to.
Right. Well, we got these guys in the kitchen. Of course, it's supposed to be Tati and Clay's time to make the meal, make the dinner for the whole group, all six of the couples. And but the ladies are in there helping out. I don't know if Clay really knows his way around the kitchen. JR, did you get any inkling that he might know his way around the kitchen? What were your thoughts about this whole scenario? And
When I looked at the meal, it looked like they actually put on a good spread for everyone.
mhm.
But his nervousness, knowing that there are people that know, and so it wasn't just the heat from the stove that was making him sweat.
He was sweating, wasn't he?
He was sweating. He was having an anxiety attack. He had to leave the room. He had to
Leave
go
the
for a
room.
walk. Yeah, he's feeling the pressure, but it's of his own making, so his own doing. He's had, I counted at least six clear opportunities for him
Wow.
to, have the time to sit down with Tatiana and tell her. But no, and the more he's getting intimate with her, kissing and hugging and she's sitting on his lap and all these different things.
Mhm.
Man, I like part of me thinking he's just waiting to play. He's going to see this whole thing out as long as possible before actually telling her. I don't think he's doing it with any urgency whatsoever.
No, he doesn't seem to have any urgency to tell the truth. I mean, like, come on, Elsie. Do you think that why was he sweating so much? Did you feel the heat?
I was caught up on whether, Clay's sweat was in the food. I was just like, I couldn't eat.
Oh
I
God.
couldn't eat. I couldn't eat. I was
Wow.
seeing him sweating over the food, and I'm like, did that drip fall in the bowl? I mean, I was just, it was just too much for me because I was like, he didn't even have a rag to kind of,
Yeah.
it was too much for me. Yeah, it did not sit well with me. That was one of my ick, like, oh no. But the
You
only,
you the
the
ick.
only, the only thing that kept me calm is I know Jay in that kitchen, and Jay would have pulled him up if anything that gross was happening. I put my faith in Jay in keeping that kitchen together.
Okay, got you.
Okay, so but I was like, ooh, Clay, you're leaning over that bowl, you're leaning over that food, and you are dripping sweat. I just couldn't get past that. But yes, I'm glad everybody came in to help him. They didn't say anything about him not having as much skill in the kitchen. He kind of
Right.
knew what he was doing. Everybody pitched in. I like the camaraderie of everybody in the kitchen,
Yeah, it
but
was.
then he snapped.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, because we're missing a couple of parts, and I want to go back and put this in. So we know that Alexi, she asked him out in the hallway to talk, and then they went back into the kitchen, and then she made an announcement in the kitchen in front of all the ladies saying, well, I was just playing with you. I was just playing with you. And he's starting to he's like, could you please just be quiet? Could you leave it alone? Then now we got Brittany over here. Brittany's in the kitchen, and now he's getting upset with Brittany. He says, well, Brittany, could you evacuate the kitchen? And Brittany's like, well, no, you was the main one when me and Ty was cooking. You was the main one in the way. What did you think
Mm,
about that, Sid? Don't see it.
mm. She got him together. He was trying to put her out the kid. She gathered him. It's like, wait a
Yes, she
minute.
did.
I treated you fairly. You were in my way. You were annoying the heck out of me. Yet I was still gracious with you and allowed you to buzz around.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try and swat me now.
Don't try to swat me now. I
Oh,
love it.
she gathered him. I liked her gathering him. I liked how he was like, okay, I get it. It seems like he has a disconnect. He doesn't see the graciousness. he's been given and to turn it around, but maybe it's the high pressure situation. The kitchen is hot, the grill is going. He may not be able to cater to such a large group for cooking, and it was just he was overwhelmed. And I love the fact he can say, "Hey, I was overwhelmed."
Right. He did. He did finally say that. He had to step outside. I think that was very mature of him to recognize when you're overwhelmed and just step away from the situation. That was very emotionally intelligent of him at that point. But I gotta say, I think the whole thing though, a lot of these people in the house are feeling added stress because they holding back with so many lies. Kiki holding back on a secret. Clay clearly is holding back on a huge secret, and I mean, like, it's their fault. They're creating their own conditions, their own anxiety, and their own stress.
Exactly. And Clay, he he's feeling the pressure because obviously he's had these interactions with other housemates during the time that he was cooking, and he's feeling the pressure even more. He doesn't know who knows what now, because he confided in only Jared, I think it was, and now Charlie knows. So if Charlie knows and she's adamant that she wants Tatiana to find out. So yeah, he's not in a good place, and like you rightly said, he's putting himself under duress. But it's going to be even worse when he does tell her. He just doesn't want to feel the heat when she erupts about it, because that relationship is probably going to be over by the way that Tatiana has reacted to the vegan thing. I think something as serious and as important as this being held from her, he doesn't want to face the backlash.
Well, they finally got the food out on the table, and we find out that the white ones are flour and the yellow ones are corn. Everybody's got their taco. They got the fancy drinks with the blueberries floating at the top. And even Ty was impressed, it seemed. Then we have Clay. He makes a big announcement and tells everybody how grateful he is to have met them, yada, yada, yada. But he says, but the most special person, of course, here for me is Tati. He goes out to get the roses, and he gives her like I don't know, double, triple dozen bouquet of red roses. And that's got the men and the women kind of looking at him sideways. Charlie's guy, he was just plain out laughing. He just can't hold it in. He can't hold water. What do you think, El said when he gave her the flowers? Is he love bombing her?
Yes, I was Brandon rolling my eyes. I was rolling my eyes. He doing too much. Way too much. He trying to reach the finish line with her, and it's not a good look knowing that you're withholding something so big from this lady. You're trying to butter her up. I didn't like it at all. I was like, okay, I understand the appreciation for her. If I was her, I'd be like, does that mean I don't have to help you clean up the kitchen? But
Okay.
that got her sitting all on his lap in front of everyone. And it's like you are allowing her to put her feelings and everything on display, knowing, and everyone, not everyone, I'm just being, facetious. Everyone in the room knows that this is all, fiction.
It's
This ain't
cap. It's all cap. Yep.
real.
JR, you got a different feeling about it? You don't think it's cap? You don't think it's love bombing?
No, it definitely is love bombing. It's very performative. And I'm thinking, okay, so when you do finally break the news to Tatiana, you've already given her flowers. You've already said you think you're falling in love with her and all these things. What on earth are you going to do to soften the blow when you do tell her? If I was Clay, I would have told her, and I would have given her the flowers afterwards to say, I'm sorry I kept it from you and this, that, the other, to try and soften the blow. But yeah, this guy blatantly love bombing, and this makes the situation even worse because he's giving her all these platitudes, but he's not being truthful.
Yeah. it's a little bit too much for me. I'm starting to dislike Clay very much. Like I'm feeling like there's just not any hope for him. And the killing part about it is he's constantly saying, oh yeah, no, people shouldn't keep secrets. When they were asked the question in the group with Taronda, he's constantly being contradictory. He's just a big liar. I don't know. I don't get him. I do not get him.
You're not the only one.
Oh, so now, guys, after the meal, we got to play the never have I ever. Oh my goodness, this is a good one. Let's see, we got never have I ever. I don't even know the. Can you remember the questions, El said for me? Never
I did
have.
not. I don't think I wrote down the never have
Oh,
I ever
okay, well, I'm
because
gonna go.
I'm not a fan of the game.
Okay, well, I'll go through the ones I do recall, and if you guys think of some of the other ones, jump in. So, never have I ever. I remember this one because this is one of my things. Never have I ever sucked toes, and everybody except for Charlie had all 10 fingers up. Charlie had to put a finger down, and uh, her guy was like, "What, toe sucking? You do that?" Never
Yeah, I
have
would
I.
have had to ask what toes.
You know,
Is
not
it
like
human
my.
toes? Are we
Huh?
talking about like chicken foot sauce? What are we talking about?
Well,
Now, you're talking about crusty athletics feet, all right? And Jared was like, "What? Because I've been kissing that mouth." Oh my god!
right. My thing is, I like having my toes sucked, but sucking someone's toes, I don't think so. So that's where I'm not reciprocal on that one. But yeah, I'm a proud recipient of toe sucking, and I like it quite a bit. So that's just my thing. That's just my thing. So another one that came up, have you ever had a one night stand? Clay is getting a lot of his fingers are going down real quick, real quick.
Not
Um,
surprised.
have you ever slept with more than one person in a 24-hour period? Clay had to drop another finger, right? Have you ever had a threesome? Clay had to drop another finger. Have you ever um, made a video? Dropped another finger. Have you ever sent the video out to someone? Dropped another finger. Clay was out. Clay got out very quickly. And I don't know. Does that mean anything with this never have I ever? What do you think, y'all see it?
For him, all those other things, I couldn't care less. The thing is that have you, you know, I would have asked the question, have you ever kept, knowledge of a child from your partner? I would have asked that question.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute now. You would have did that? You would have did
Oh,
that one?
heck yeah. Because we at least got two. We got, Jared and we got Charlie. They had children from their significant other.
That's right. That's right. So now and
And I
two
would have been looking
plus.
at Clay.
Yep. Two
Yeah,
plus.
but
Right.
if they had asked that question, Clay would have run out of fingers. Like
He
he
was
would have, he would
he
have
was
already been
ready
eliminated.
out of it. He could have put his toe up there and seen if Charlie might have wanted to suck it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't
Too
know. He
funny.
could have. I don't know, but he was the fingers was right. Oh, one other question I recall. Have you ever made love outside? Some fingers went down with that one too. Some fingers went
Right.
down with that one too.
But during this game, that's when we saw some tension between Jay and Cinco.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for bringing me to that. Yeah. The question was asked. That was the one with have you ever had sex with more than one person in a 24-hour period? And it looked like Jay was saying, well, yeah, I done that. And then Cinco was like, well, recently?
Ain't your
And
business.
she was like, yeah, no, it ain't your business. And then he kind of asked her again a couple times, and then he was like, you know what, man, I'm out of here. I'm out. And she said, well, you know what? You being real extra. You being real extra. You being real extra with that. You got to leave the room. So she left the room to find them so they could talk. And in his confessional, he's saying, I don't want to think that she's lying to me, but there was a huge pause there. We get to the Jay's sister who comes to visit, and she's trying to talk to them and saying, look, you know what? This is not, well, no, I'm sorry, back up. Before we get there, we're on the couch with Jay and Cinco is telling Jay, look, we don't keep secrets from one another. What's going on here? JR, what do you think? What do you think is going on? Does she have the right to keep that a secret from him?
Yeah, I mean, everybody has a right to privacy, but I guess he felt like he needed to know something like that. And she felt that he didn't. So that's where that comes to blows, right? So that could lead to all types of questions coming next. Who was it with? When was it? Was it while we were dating? Online. So yeah, I think both. She has a right to her privacy. She doesn't have to specifically go into detail. She already said that it has happened, but it was in the past. And obviously, he's going to be curious as to know a bit more about that situation because that's his girl. And he's pedestalized her and sees a future with her. So, or is trying to build something with her at the moment. So, something like that, he felt like that should have come up earlier.
I would ask,
Right.
what would you like to hear? What answer can I give you so we can let this rest?
You would have asked him that?
Yeah, what would you like to hear?
Okay.
Because this is clearly before you. This is clearly before you. And,
Yeah.
I don't know when they said they would be exclusive because when I start talking to you in April, we ain't exclusive. I mean,
Right.
truly. I mean,
Right.
Cinco was just that shower episode and every episode after have got Cinco what, in Spanish would say he is enchula. He is all the way gone on Jay. And I understand. We have all been there.
Yes.
But again, when he said when we started talking in April, I'm like, hold up, Cinco. We started talking in April. Maybe we exclusive by June. It could have been anywhere between when we started talking until we got exclusive. I mean, come on now. Come on now, Cinco. Calm down. Calm down.
Yeah, you're right. Because if you just started talking and these couples hadn't met each other, that's the other thing I don't understand. Do people set rules up when they're dating online and they're long distance? Like, do you decide? And did they talk about like we're going to be exclusive, or I don't want you dating anybody else. I don't want you sleeping with anybody else because people got different definitions of what dating is, what sleeping around is. So you got to be very clear and very specific. But you're right. If they started talking in April, you're right. That's probably not when they became exclusive. And you're right. She has his nose all the way open. Do you agree or disagree, JR?
Yeah. Tough one. There are rules and boundaries that you set because you're in a relationship. So it's not a free for all. Just because you're not with the person physically, the concept of dating online is that you're still in a relationship, you're still checking in with each other every day, you're still supportive, you're still doing all the other things that you can do from a distance, and you're exclusive. Obviously, you're not going to go exclusive as soon as you start speaking, but from that point when you have decided to become exclusive, then it's a relationship. So if she has been dating or seeing other people, or in this case, possibly sleeping with people in a 24-hour period, and it was at a time when they were meant to be exclusive, or even if it was during the time that they started talking, like, I just think he thought he would have been told about that earlier. Probably from the closeness and the level of conversations they've had, he probably felt like, wait a minute, you're hiding this from me? You know, you're an open book. Like, you can be open with me and tell me these things. Why am I waiting until we're playing this game before I'm
To
finding
find
out about this?
to find this out, yeah. Well, now you know what. To be fair, do women or men have to express and share all of their sexual history with the person they're now dating if all of these things occurred before they even met this person? Do you really have to express all of that? It's kind of like El Cid said, is people have a right to their privacy.
Right.
See,
But
go ahead, Jr.
I was just going to say, um, yes, you're right. And people do have a right to their privacy. But when you're getting into a relationship, there are those type of questions, intimacy questions, previous partners, um, you know, um, kinks, fetishes, fantasies, all those type of things are discussed. So, yeah, I just think it was just a shock to him to find out that there's something involving nighttime activities that he didn't know about her.
Did he ask? Unless you ask me point blank. See, here's the thing.
Hmm.
I do agree to that point. Don't ask, don't tell. I
Yeah,
don't ask. I don't
right.
ask about your previous partners, and I don't ask details. I just ask that we test and we are disease free. But
There
other
you
than
go.
that, your past is your past, and don't ask me about mine either. And I
Well,
think that's the crux too. That I think,
hmm,
and this is just my experience.
yes,
Some gentlemen don't like the fact a lady would say, "I ain't telling you my history or my resume," and that
right,
could irk them.
right. Kind of goes back to way back when in high school or something, when a guy would ask, or college, men would want to know, like, how many partners have you had? Like, that's none of your business. Like,
Body
else,
count foolishness.
right? It is kind of, and that's what I was kind of thinking of. I didn't get the I didn't get the feeling that Cinco was trying to slut shame, for lack of a better phrase at this moment. But I thought he really was, like you said, he's a little bit whipped, and he was concerned that maybe something might have happened with her while she was talking to him. That seemed to be his concern. But I think for a lot of men, the male ego likes to be stroked, and a lot of men want to think that you've only had one other partner before them, if that.
Well, let me be compassionate towards Cinco, okay? Let me be compassionate towards him. Maybe Cinco is thinking, hey, Jay is, high energy in that department. She got to have it today, and they did. And he's thinking, but wait a minute, we've been talking for months. We've been exclusive for a few months. How did you pass the time if you didn't have a partner? Did you have the what do they call it, the mental fortitude for you to not engage with anyone else? So again, they've been virtually dating for months, and he's like, well, wait a minute, have you been abstaining all these months? Is that why you jumped my bones, or were you with someone else?
Ah, okay. That, now you know what, you just turned the point of view around on that, because you're right. Like, that I hadn't thought of it that way. Jr., do you agree with El Cid?
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's the whole reason why so many secrets are being held. There was an impression, there was an assumption that there was exclusivity.
Right.
So, that's why Jared didn't tell Charlie about his child. That's why Charlie didn't mention the other three kids. You know, that's why Kiki's holding her secret. That's why Clay's holding his. There was meant to be an exclusive relationship at some point, and your secret is going to kind of, you know, put some type of doubt in your partner's mind now that you were faithful. So we can't have it both ways. We can't expect someone like Clay or Kiki to, um, we can't hold them to a certain standard where we're like, listen, you guys are deceptive, you're holding back things, you're lying, and then at the same time say, you know, um, don't ask, don't tell. It's none of
Right.
your business, because it kind of is. You don't need to go too deep and talk about your entire history, but in that particular scenario, it was about sleeping with people in a 24-hour period. And that's something that, could have produced a child, as we saw in Charlie and Jared's case. If you are sleeping around, things can happen. So I can see why Cinco is kind of feeling the way he is. But like I said, I also see it from Jay's standpoint as well. And the other thing I'll say is, from a guy's standpoint, most guys I know don't want to hear about the history in detail. They don't want to know that. They just want to focus on what you're going to do now.
Right.
They want to know
Right.
your numbers, because your numbers could be off-putting. So just keep it to yourself,
And
and just
his could be
let's see what we're
really,
doing.
really off-putting. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like,
And
like,
then it's not only guys that do that. You know,
no, you're right. You're
there are
right.
there are some women who will want to know what their what their guy's previous history was as well, and usually that's to weaponize it during an argument or some other stuff, or say, well, that's your type, or those type of things. Beat him over the
Mm.
head with it.
Well, the
Is it
sister.
that dynamic that he wants to know her history, and it don't even look like Jay even want to know Cinco's past, you know?
No.
Nah,
Well,
she don't
he
care.
played ball overseas, and that's one of the other guests that came in, is his friend that he played ball with overseas, and he said that his friend knew her, and he got
Mhm.
the rundown from his friend. So I'm kind of thinking, if your friend knew her well enough to give you the rundown, most men are very quick to say a woman is not loose or is loose. And that's kind of the two categories that most women fit into most men like this at this age, at this stage in life, I think. JR?
I think
Okay.
Torin, the friend, said she ain't gonna take no BS. You know,
Hmm.
I think Torin may know that she's a coach, she's a tough person, but she ain't gonna take that BS. And if you're gonna step to her, you better step correct. I think that may be the line. I don't know. It didn't seem like Torin knew her history as far as dating.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it just seemed like a matchmaker situation. I don't think he knew too much about her. He just like, here's a nice girl for you, and let me hook you up.
Well,
Um,
it sounds like they were online on social media somewhere, and
mhm.
they maybe had like a mutual friend group, and he saw pictures of her. She's very beautiful. I think Jay's a gorgeous girl. So I guess he said, let me shoot my shot. Let me go in them DMs.
Yeah, and it worked.
Yep, it did work. So I think that her she's saying her guest is saying, look, everything does not have to be a fight or a battle. You guys don't have any real serious issues. You can work through this. Just tell them what it is. And she did eventually say, well, no, this wasn't during the time when we were talking. I just got a question for everybody in the chat. Do we believe Jay? Yes or no? I'll ask you, El Cid, and Jay. I'll ask you first, El Cid. Do you believe her?
I believe Jay. I don't. Jay gonna be a straight shooter. I think she's going to tell you from the hip, like, yeah, it ain't. But why are you getting your panties in a bunch about it?
Hmm.
I think Jay was pushing his buttons a little bit.
Oh, you mean intentionally? You think she was pushing
Oh,
us intentionally?
oh yeah, because that's something I would do.
Ah,
I would totally,
okay.
if you want to call that a toxic trait, that is definitely a toxic trait. I'll be like, why you want to know? Why you asking? And that too can push people off their square. Like, well, why aren't you telling me outright? Do I have something to worry about? It is you playing mental games, and I'm sorry for it, but yes, I would. But I do. I believe Jay. I believe her.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Jr. Do you believe her?
Yeah, I believe her. I haven't seen any reason why I shouldn't believe her. That's what she says. That's what she says.
Hmm. Uh-oh. We got an LOL out there, and we've got favoritistas. No, I don't believe her. She lying. The girl is capping. She lying. I don't know, because the thing about it, my spidey senses kind of went up too, because why couldn't she have just said no when he asked her the first time at the table? If she wasn't messing around and did, and this is a lot to me, my generation. That's a lot. Like, to sleep with two different people in a 24-hour period. Like, what are you doing? Are you in love with both of them and the guy online? Like, what's going on? Really? But it could just be me. It could just be me.
Why we gotta be in love to be between the sheets?
Well, do we have to at
Exactly.
least
Okay,
be
okay.
in like? Do we have to like the person?
Or just being heat? Which one we talking about?
Oh wow, are we dogs now?
Like Tina Turner said, "What's love got to do with it?"
Was love, but I don't know if she was talking about all this two people in 24-hour period. She might have been talking about something else. Was love got to do with us staying together when you laying hands on me, Negro? That might have been what she was talking about. And
Same thing
then
applies.
and then yeah, right. Monique, well, exactly. Why did it take her so long? It's that's my confusion, because on the one hand, I would like to think that no, she didn't do this while she was with him and they were getting to know each other and she was starting to really like him and making plans to meet up with him. I would like to think that, but that hesitation is what's got me messed up.
Mm.
It's got me real messed up. But I digress. We're going to move forward and get to the meat of all of this with the liars and the secrets and whatnot. In the meanwhile, on the other side of the house, these two were just chummy, chummy, chummy. And I guess in order to help celebrate their win of the game, we how well we knew each other, they decide that they're going to hit the intimacy suite. The
Oh
suite
dear.
looks like it's prepared. It looks like the suite is prepared. You got the candles, got the lamps, and you've even got some
Prophyl-
prophylactics.
Prophylactics.
Prophylactics, okay? And meanwhile, they're walking into the bedroom. The bedroom is looking nice. I'm hoping and praying they changed all these sheets out, right? Sheets have been freshly laundered from the last set of people that were in there, which I think might have been what, Jared and Charlie. I don't know.
Mhm.
But anyway, so they heading to the suite. They're heading to the suite. They're in the suite, and this man, they're starting to kiss very passionately. And he tells us in his confessional, you know what? I'm gonna get it in, and then I'm gonna tell her about I have a daughter. When my friend come next week, that's when I'm gonna tell her about this little bitty daughter that I have that's 6 months old. She gonna need to know this right now before I get it in. Is this all about just clapping cheeks, JR? What do you think?
Yep. Clearly, he's more focused on clapping cheeks and all that stuff, and not about telling her the secret. And it's going to backfire on him. I don't even know if he is going to do it when the friend arrives. But I'm. This is what I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting to see him say when he's going to do it, and if he follows through and does it, or if he takes the coward's way out and continues to butter her up and making the situation even worse. But
Yeah.
definitely being intimate in the boom boom room is going to make it worse, because now you're attached. Now you've done, you've taken your relationship to an even more intimate level. And that means there's going to be more feelings and more devastation attached to when she finds out.
Elsie, what are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
Clay, I was yelling no, Tatiana,
Right, at the
when I
TV,
saw
right?
her. Ooh, when I saw her go into the boom boom room, when she's sitting on his lap, when she's saying, "If you had a stressful day, how can your partner make you feel better?" I was like, Tatiana, you are falling for this man, and he is hiding stuff from you. Oh, I felt so bad for her. And
Yeah.
Clay has not shown that he is going to do what he says he's going to do. He
Nope,
keeps
not.
putting things off. I'll look for the right time. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe this. He ain't gonna say it. And I'm hoping the friend, whoever it is, say, "Well, how did she take you telling her that you got a 1 month old?" I'm hoping it comes out because it ain't gonna come out from Clay.
It looks like it's gonna have to be somebody else that's gonna have to express it, and that's why I said I don't see why everybody's sitting around being the secret keeper when this is so important. But now after the fact, they come out the boom boom room, and let's say that they've gone all the way. Now she's really gonna be like fighting mad. I mean, she would have been fighting mad anyway, but now that she's given up the goods, like what? You waited to tell me after? That's just so deceptive. That's such a lie. It's a lie of omission. And I
Right.
think people do that all the time. They lie by omission and they think it's okay because they say, well, you didn't ask me. But I just one thought that just crossed my mind. How many times do people date and not ask each other at their big old age, do you have any children? So he had to have lied to her. I mean, in my mind, that's my assumption. He had to have lied to her.
He had to. He had to. He didn't tell her anything. The fact that she was sleeping so soundly, he did not disclose the secret. He didn't disclose anything, and I'm very disappointed because every day, and I'm just until they both clarify what they did, I'm gonna assume that we just cuddled again. That's until they confirm.
I don't know the way she was
I,
sitting on that lap, wagging her rear end. I think she was ready. Was it who sang that song? Are you ready? It seems like you're
right.
ready.
Exactly. I would be, yes, I would give that, connotation that maybe they did, make it to the finish line. But until I hear them say it, I'm gonna let it be. But my thing is, dude, you are making this worse and worse and worse. That is why he was starting very intensely, when they had their first date. And it's like you keep on being intense, she's going to keep on expecting you to be this, and now it's like a roller coaster. You're sending her up 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 up, only for her to drop, and that is the drop that I'm afraid of for Tatiana.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm feeling bad for Tatiana because it's not looking good that he's ever told her what his secret is, but yet he wants to clap them cheeks. He wants to, what does he used to say, Jr. He wants to partake of the yams.
Hmm. Yeah. There's two things that I think could potentially happen. Maybe the stress of holding a secret makes them unable to perform, so
Ooh,
they do
that
end up
would be a
kissing each
good one. I
other.
hope that happens.
And then, and then
Diabolical.
the other thing is, I think he's going to try and get to the friend first and fill them in on, she doesn't know yet, so don't say anything. I'm going to tell her. Or because if he doesn't do that, the friend may actually out him unintentionally. So his plan might backfire.
Mm, mm. Elsie, what we got coming up for next week on this show? Because I'm ready. I'm ready. Like, please do not drag this out any longer. Please let it be this next episode that she finds out and smacks the HELL out of this person.
Well, one thing I will say with this episode is Clay had said, if your girl asks you for anything, give it to her. That's when he apologized to Brittany, and I said, what about honesty?
Yeah.
Tatiana been asking for honesty, but next week it shows that Charlie tells Brittany about the secret. And it's also telling us that Clay's friend comes, and Clay's friend was climbing him like an oak tree. and Tatiana was going off.
Oh yes.
Wait a minute. What? Back
Off.
up. What did you
Oh
say that I
yes.
missed? Who climbed on who and did what to where?
Oh yes.
Clay's friend came and she
Yeah.
greeted him. She ran up to him and she jumped on him, and her legs were wrapping around his hips.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
Tati was going after her. Get your hands off my man! And there was a
Mhm.
big old yelling match on the front lawn.
Yes. 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 I
Wait a
remember
minute.
seeing
State
that
that
too.
again, because I was trying to type. State that again, LC. Start from the beginning, girl. Break it down for me.
Clay's friend is doing the visit,
Mm-hmm.
and she ran to Clay and she jumped onto Clay, and her legs were around Clay.
Oh heck no!
And it was
So,
right in front of Tatiana as well.
yes.
It might be the baby mama. What if it's the baby mama?
Well, we don't know. It is a lady friend. It is a lady
Yep.
friend. She
Yep.
came very dressed up. And Tatiana was yelling and carrying on at her and tell her if she don't get her hands off her man and get gone off the property.
Yep.
So Tatiana has some bite.
Yeah, we know that. We know she has got some bite, but that was very disrespectful. Now, this friend obviously knows Clay very well for her to jump up in his arms like that. And like you said, wrap her legs around him in front of his girl, in front of everybody.
Yeah,
So, what kind of
everybody.
friendship do they have, first of all, where that's appropriate? And
Right.
then, yeah, obviously, from that now comes animosity instantly between the friend and Tatiana. So, Clay's now going to be in a situation where he's caught in the middle. He's going to obviously have to explain his friendship and obviously going to have to apologize for taking that greeting too far. So he's going to feel Tatiana's wrath, like before he even gets to the secret part. And if the heated exchange becomes so volatile that the friend decides to throw out that he's got a child,
Hmm.
ah, yeah, Clay, you're finished. He's finished.
Yeah.
Because
Um.
how I'm seeing it is from the
Okay.
way that it looks like it's gonna get very vicious verbally, and if it does, then why would Clay's friend hold the secret? She will out it just to hurt Tatiana even more and win that particular battle. So it's not looking good, Clay.
No, it's not looking good. And wait a minute. Did anybody see the part where Alexi is saying to her friend? I guess she's got her guest coming next week. Did anybody see where she's saying like what? Like I never had to work this hard for a young boy before. I don't know. Something
Yes.
about that statement just kind of didn't rub me the wrong way. What about you, Elsie?
Yes. It did rub me the wrong way. I'm like, okay, did young boys just chase you, or are you a sugar mama? In what way are they just running to you, or are they just, willing to be your pool boy? I just was like, you never had to work. Do you want him, or do you just want him for a moment? But if she never had to work so hard for a young man, okay, okay,
I find that
I
kind
see
of
where this
hard
is.
to. I find that kind of hard to believe unless she's sitting on a pile of money. I find that very hard to believe that she never had to work that hard for a young boy.
Well, what it said to me was she clearly has dated younger men before. So and it's been fairly easy for her to do that. Um, I think the challenge comes with Chris giving her so much pushback about how controlling she is, because I think one of the dynamics in that type of relationship is that the older woman will assume a level of control that she wouldn't with a guy her own age. So yeah, that to me sounded like she goes for younger men, or she has a lot of experience with younger men, and she expected this to be kind of like a cakewalk.
Mm-mm. I don't know, guys. I do not know. You guys are here. Thank you for staying till the end. Please hit that like button, subscribe. We've got the wonderful, lovely El Cid 932 on the panel. El Cid, tell us about what you got going on over on your channel.
Right now, we are doing unsolicited advice. We had a Mother's Day show earlier. Usually, I am on live Sundays at noon. But unsolicited advice is where we find people who need the advice of the internet. They have asked the advice of the internet, and
Hmm.
I just read the questions. Or this time we had a video. Today was all about mothers, or mothers who may be, too much in their children's lives, and how does the, daughter, son-in-law navigate this relationship. So that was today's show. We've had 12 episodes so far. Usually we do Love is Blind and the dating shows. Love is Blind, I found breaking news that Brazil is going to cater to the 50 and over group in the next Love is Blind Brazil. So we're excited about that.
Oh,
And
really? How soon will
yep,
that be? How soon will that be airing on Netflix?
Netflix said it's supposed to be in 2025, and usually the foreign ones usually happen, one in August, one October, and of course we just had one, Sweden, earlier. So it's usually 3 times a year they do the international versions. So I'm
Okay.
hoping if it's not August, because we're waiting on Love Is Blind France, that's going to be hosted by an African American couple. I'm hoping that's August, and maybe Brazil is October, but I don't know yet. I
Hmm.
also do this Never Ever Met with another round, JS in the channel. And we do a lot of kikiing with Just Rhonda 01 about that one as well. So yeah, dating shows, unsolicited advice,
What about
and
somebody's son?
that was the last part.
Okay.
Tuesdays we cover Somebody's Son. That is also a show on OWN. I cover it with Aubrey, and we simulcast it on both of our channels. And we have a mama that I went real hard on the first episode, and she ain't let up on the fact that I went hard on
Oh no, she's been all in your comment sections, I heard.
her. Not all over, but she definitely making comments. Definitely making comments about her and her son. So yeah, Somebody's Son. It has been wonderful. It's where a son with 3 ladies vying for his attention, and the mom has control of who gets his time. So yes, it's been fun. So yes, that is Tuesdays, and that will definitely be this Tuesday at 4:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
All right, I'm looking forward to it because I got some thoughts on this episode this week. I got some thoughts.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
thank you for that, Jr. Tell us where the peoples where they can find you and what you got going on.
Okay, first of all, thank you for the additional followers and likes. I appreciate all who came over to my Instagram and showed some love. Um, you'll find me here every week doing these reviews on Never Ever Mets. First of all, with Aubrey and El Cid. We determined to get to the end of the season and find out if Clay tells a secret and how many couples are going to actually succeed. Right, as usual, we want to see couples work rather than the dysfunctional breakdowns. We know it's for entertainment a lot of the time, and we know that it can be entertaining to watch toxicity, but we do want to actually get to the finish line and hope that we see some couples actually make it. On Instagram, check out my page. It's JRX TV, health, wealth, well-being, things like that. And also peep my stories, because that's where you tend to find a lot of my posts actually in my stories. So jump over there when you have the chance. And as usual, if you like the reviews we do, it doesn't cost a penny to like or leave a comment or even subscribe to the channels. And obviously switch on the bell for notifications of any videos that we put out.
There you have it, guys. Happy Mother's Day. Got Father's Day is coming up next month, so let's make sure that we treat the fathers with the love and respect that we give the mothers. Right? Okay. 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 Everybody, thank you for liking the video. Thank you for showing up as always. Thank you for chatting with us. We love you, and we will shimmy and shake on out. We're going to see you guys next week.